Hi everybody, my name is Anthony. I'm one of the librarians here at the Sachem Public Library. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be making our do-it-yourself light up cube. It's a basic, simple circuit project that I think you guys are really going to like. So let's get started. Okay, so to get started, we're going to look at what was included in the kit that you picked up from the library. First and foremost, you have this 3D printed cube. Okay, this is what we're going to fold to be our light up cube. You're going to have an LED light, what makes our cube actually light up. You're going to have 3 different colors to pick from. You can use whichever color you want, and I'll show you how to change them later if you want to do a different color after you put it together. You're going to have 2 wires that look like this. Each one of these 2 wires is going to have an end like this and a pointy end like that. Okay, you're going to have this battery box. This is where we're going to install our batteries, and you're also going to have 2 wires that are coming out of this battery box. Okay, also including your kit, we're going to include a couple of batteries so we can get everything lit up. But the first thing we're going to do for our project, now that we know how we have all the parts that we need, is fold up our 3D printed cube here. So when you guys get them, they're going to be pretty stiff. This is my sample, so some of these joints have already been moved, but I'm going to show you how to do this right now. Okay, so first thing is just hold it and kind of flex these back and forth very gently. You don't want to go too hard. You don't want to flex it all the way down and break it. Okay, so we're going to go around where we see all these joints here, and we're going to flex it very gently. Do that, each one. So we have it, all the joints flexed. Now we're going to fold it together. So to do that, I'm going to show you what it looks like. You're going to start over here, opposite this little hole. I'm going to put that one up. Okay, then you can bring up the side that's opposite hole. And you can bring up any one of these sides first. So I'm kind of holding it together just to show you guys. And you can flip that side up too. Okay, and when you have that together, you can fold this down too. Now this was just to check that everything folded the way it was supposed to, and now it actually looks like a cube. Okay, so now that we know that this will basically fold up into the shape we want it, and we want to make sure we can keep these 4 sides together. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. What I'm going to recommend is using Scotch tape. It's quick, it's easy, and if you want to take it apart, it's easy to get back apart. If you want to ask for a grown-up's help, you can glue it. You can glue these 4 sides together. The only thing I'm going to tell you not to do is do not glue the top. We always want to keep that open, so I'd always recommend using tape or a rubber band or anything to keep that closed. Okay, now that we've gone over that, I'm going to show you how to tape it. So you can take a piece of Scotch tape, a nice long piece. You get one of the corners together, and don't be afraid to ask for help from a grown-up, from a sibling, anyone who's around, because you may need a couple of extra hands for this. Okay, take your time, make sure everything lined up, make sure you pull down the tape so it stays together. Okay, that's one side, one corner. I'm going to go to the other. Okay, now we'll do the last side. Okay, another piece of tape. And bring that all the way around. Now just gently press the tape all the way down. It helps to hide it so you don't see it as much. Okay, so now we have all these sides together, and now we have our box with a lid. So we're going to leave the lid alone right now. We're never going to put glue on it, and we're just definitely not going to tape it right now. The next thing we're going to grab is our battery box that has the 2 wires sticking out of it. I know we included batteries in your kit, but don't put them in here just yet. We're going to leave the batteries out while we're building our little electric circuit. Okay, So one of the really important things to look at when you're looking at this battery box is there are two different color wires coming right out of the box. We have a red wire, which is our positive wire in our electric circuit, and we have our black wire, which is going to be our negative wire in this circuit. Okay, now you may notice you have two different color wires coming off of that. The colors of these two wires don't matter. Okay, these are just extensions. What we're going to focus on and what I'm referring to is going to be this red positive wire. As you can see, this is all connected, and this black negative wire. As you can see, that's all connected. Okay, so we have these two wires coming from the battery box that we just talked about, and we have these two extension wires that are included in your kit. Again, the colors for these are not going to matter. What's going to matter are the colors coming right out of this battery box. Okay, so let's start with the red positive wire. Okay, I'm going to grab this end right here, and I'm going to grab one of my extension cables. Like I said, doesn't matter the color, the one with that little metal piece sticking out of the end, and we're going to connect these together. Okay, just take your time lining it up, and when you have it lined up, you can press them together. Okay, and now they're connected. Now we're going to take our black negative wire coming from the battery box. We'll grab the other extension that's left, and we're going to plug that in. Okay, now we have two nice long wires coming out of our battery box. This is kind of so you have your cube, you have your project, and you don't have to see the battery box right next to it. You can kind of hide it and run the wires wherever you want. Okay, so we have our cube, we have our black wires that we just added these extensions to. Now we're going to very gently take our cube and we're going to put the wires through the back of the cube where that little hole is, right? We're going to do this very gently because remember, unless you glue this, this is just tape, so we don't want to press or crunch it too much. So we're going to take one wire. It doesn't matter which one you did first. Okay, I'm just going to sneak it through, and then we're going to come in and we're going to put the second wire in here. Now the second wire, because that first wire is already in there, is going to be a little bit tighter. That's okay, just gently push it, and if it doesn't want to push through, well in this case it did, but if it doesn't want to push through, just turn it over, grab it from the inside, and pull a little bit until both wires are coming out just like that. Okay, so we have our cube with our two wires sticking out of it. Okay, now this next step is going to be really important because we're going to get our light and we're going to hook it up, but we have to hook it up correctly. So we're going to go over it piece by piece. Okay, so we're going to start, we're going to look at our battery box. So we're going to look at that red wire, that positive wire, the battery box that we talked about from before. Okay, so in this case, I see that my red wire goes to this white wire, and then it goes back to this red wire. Again, your colors may change. It's the colors of this battery box wires that we matter, okay? So, I'll do that again. I got my red positive, it goes to this white wire, and it goes to this red wire, and I know this red wire sticking out of here is my positive, okay? That's how I'm going to trace it along to make sure I have the right one. Now I'm going to take my light. Now the light has two different ends. One has to get plugged into the positive, and one has to get plugged into the negative, okay? The longer one, if you look at your light, there's two little legs coming off of it. This long leg right here, that's the one that goes into the positive. So this is my positive wire. That is where I'm going to plug in my light. Okay, so we do the same thing for the negative wire. Okay, we got this black wire, which happens to go to another black wire, and in this case it goes to a brown one, which happens to be my only wire left. So this is my negative wire. Okay. Now I'm going to take that and plug it into the short leg of the LED. Okay, I want to get them all the way in there. Okay, so now we've just completed a simple electric circuit. Okay, real quick before we close up this box, I'm just going to go over real quickly what makes this basic circuit work. Okay, so we have our batteries right here that are going to provide power or electricity. Okay, and it's going to go around this red wire. It's going to go all the way through to that longer positive leg of our LED. Okay, it's going to light up, it's going to come out, and it's going to go through our negative side, and it's going to come all the way back around to here. Okay, so it needs to flow in a circle. Okay, if I were to take apart one of these wires and break that flow, this whole circuit wouldn't work. Okay, and that is essentially what this switch does. So when this is switched off, it's just the same as doing this, okay? Now, the electricity can't flow, your light won't light up, okay? Let me just plug that back in real quick. But when I click the on, when I flick it to on, it's like closing the circuit, everything is connected, and power can go through the battery, through the light, and back through the wires, okay? So now if we click it, our light comes back on. Okay, so now we have our light sticking out a little bit. We can very gently grab the wires, pull very gently to get our light down into the box, okay? And you could just leave it somewhere loose in the middle like that, okay? It won't affect it if it's kind of moving around a little bit, okay? It really won't pull out unless you pull it hard, and if you do pull it, just reconnect them because now you know how to do it. So now that we have the light down in there, it's ready to close the lid. So, and again, this is the part, even if you glued the sides to keep it together and solid, do not glue the top. It's something we want to be able to always access just in case we want to change our light, change the color of our light. So always leave that just taped or rubber banded down any way you want to close it. So in this case, I'm grabbing a lip piece of Scotch tape and I'm just going to close my lid with the tape. Okay. And now let's see what it looks like in the dark. All right, guys, we're gonna flick the switch and see what it looks like. Awesome. Okay, now our project is pretty much complete, but there are a couple little finishing touches you can add, which we'll go over right now. All right, so our project is pretty much done, but if you want to add a couple of finishing touches, you absolutely can. If you want to add any paper cutouts to the sides, or you can come back with a marker and draw anything you'd like on there, just keep in mind, whatever you put on here will block out the light. So it can make a really cool effect. I just want you to be aware of that before you do anything else to your project. So I hope you guys enjoyed following along today. I hope you really love your LED light up cubes. And again, thank you for watching.